Well, I just can't believe my luck. The rods have been fishing for only a couple of hours and the left-hand rod's just gone. Absolute banger of a common, and the rod has rattled off again. I think I recognise this fish. I think it's a fish called the parrot. Well, have I got something really special to show you. I've only gone and landed myself another PB. So, hello and welcome to another video. We're back on Swan and we've got 48 hours ahead of us. I arrived quite late today, had a few errands to run, and to be honest I was really surprised how busy the lake was when I got here. It's Tuesday now and there was only a couple of swims free. However, where I am, it's not a bad option. The wind is meant to switch later on today to a northerly wind, and I'm going to be on the end of that. From what I've seen previously, the fish like to get on a wind, so fingers crossed on that one. I've already had a little look out there and it is quite a bit shallower up this end of the lake, and I've decided on two spots. To be honest, the margin area that looks really good, there's a few overhanging willows and that to my left, and they're just too shallow and too choddy to present baits over there. When I say choddy, there's like bits of leaf matter and all sorts underneath them trees, and it's only like registering 1.6 foot of water on the boat. I'll just run the bait boat along that line to see what I could find. So they're not really an option. I found a nice area which is just off a peninsula of reeds that comes off of that far margin, but it's in a lot deeper water there. I've got 5 foot in front of that spot, and then the other two rods I'm going to fish on the same spot. I found a spot out at 8 wraps, and to be honest it's all pretty much silty out there, but that area just seems a lot more cleaner than what else is around it. I've been smelling the lead on every pull back just to make sure I can find the clearer stuff, and I'm quite happy with that spot. So that spot's going to take the other two rods. So yes, wish me luck, and let's see if the fish play ball this time. Well, I just can't believe my luck. The rods have been fishing for only a couple of hours and the left hand rod's just gone. Absolute banger of a common, £34 4 ounces just gone. He's very, very angry, but I'll see if I can get him up for you. Whoa, so angry. And here he is, look. Another swan cracker. I am absolutely chuffed to bits. This place just keeps on giving for me. You know, the LM94 Victim again. It's that trimmed down one that's doing all the bites for me on here. I just can't believe it. How is your luck? And you know, he's really gorgeous. Very similar to the one I had a couple of weeks ago. Orange under its gill plates and under its belly. Yeah, wait a minute now. Oh, there we go. Oh, oh, steady. There he is, look. I am made up. What a way to start. Gorgeous colours on it. There's all like oranges under its belly, and his belly's really, really white. Oh, just a superb looking fish. Stunning. Mwah. Let's slip this beauty back. Well, good evening. Just setting the scene for tonight, really. Time has slipped away rather quick today, I'll be honest. I didn't arrive till dinner time, and it was probably 1:30, 2 o'clock-ish by the time I had the rods sorted. I was in no rush to get the rods out, to be honest. With the lake being so busy, I just wanted to see where other people was casting, and it become quite apparent the amount of bait that's been going in. But there always is on here, so it's no surprise that. But I suppose I have got this little corner to myself, so all I really need is the fish to turn up. At the moment, the fish are not here in numbers. I was really surprised when that left-hand rod went, especially so soon. I mean, I haven't seen anything showing out in front of me. I have seen quite a few fish showing though, and they're probably about 400 yards to my right. They've been showing in the centre over there. I must have counted at least 10 or 12 shows now. But as we speak, they have been moving a little bit closer and a little bit closer. So fingers crossed they do get down here. And like I mentioned before, we've got a northerly wind due in, which pushes up to this top end where I am. And the fish in here do respond well to a fresh wind, so fingers crossed on that one. Although I found the spot, I've kept everything minimal, and to make less disturbance I've actually used the bait boat to boat all the rigs out. Again, my same approach as what I usually do, just the pigeon conditioner mix. Oh, did you see that? That fish showed that's probably only 10 yards off of where my right hand rod is, so they are moving up. Oh, fingers crossed. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm using the pigeon conditioner mix again like I always do, and I'm just fishing a small amount of bait and sitting on it. I don't really want to be filling it in. To be honest, that's what most people are doing. and I'm just not seeing them come to the big baited areas. I'd rather just fish for a bite at a time, I really would. But you know, I've said this before, things will change and what I'm doing will eventually stop working. But I just can't believe it. I just cannot seem to put a foot wrong at the moment. I keep coming and doing my same thing and it keeps working for me time and time again. I had a little tally up after my last session and I've actually, with that fish I've just landed today, I've had 20 fish out of here. And this is my 7th session. I just cannot believe it. If you'd have asked me before I started fishing here, you know, if I'd have had any sort of results like that, you know, I find it hard to believe myself. That's the point I'm trying to put across. What I'm doing is working and my confidence is through the roof. It really is. I just hope it continues. I'm really enjoying my time on here. And hopefully one of them big commons is not too far away. That's what I'd really like. I've got my heart set on one of them fish. But we'll keep trying. You know, we can only do our best. Rig wise, I'm fishing the same rigs as well. The Corda size 6 wide gapes, Nash Combi Link, and again barbless hooks. It's barbless hooks only on here. I've not changed anything really. I don't feel the need to yet. Well, it's definitely looking like a few of them fish have started to drift over. That's the first fish I've seen show in front of me. Really positive. We just need that wind to pick up. I mean, it's supposed to be blowing a northerly wind now, but the trouble is there isn't any wind at the moment. I'm hoping that when I wake up in the morning it's picked up a little bit and the wind's pushing up here. That would be very good if that was to happen. And the weather forecast says it's going to do that up to between 12 and 16 mile an hour wind tomorrow. The air pressure is absolutely pants, to be honest. The pressure's right up into the 1020s, so it's not very good on that front. But you know, we've had a bite already, so anything from now is a bonus. Even if I was to, you know, do the next couple of nights and not even had a fish, it's still a really good session just to turn up and nick that one fish. But we'll see, fingers crossed, wish me luck, and hopefully I shall be checking in with you bright and early tomorrow morning. Well, we're still quite early on in the night. In fact, it's only been a couple of hours since I last spoke to you, and the rod has rattled off again. I think I recognise this fish. I think it's a fish called the parrot. He's just gone 41.10 is a mirror. So my first 40 mirror out of this lake, absolutely buzzing. He is a banging fish and gave a good account of himself as well. I'll have to double check and confirm it is the fish called the parrot though. And there he is, look, just check that beauty out. I do apologise for the light, but needs must, you know, you can't retain them overnight. Especially not anywhere, never mind here. Oh, what a chunk. It was actually quite deceiving, I didn't think it was as big as that. I was quite surprised when I lifted the scales up and it went round to 41.10. He's come to the same rod again, the left hand rod. Oh, same tactics. Oh my god. He's hard to hold. Yeah, look. Probably not doing it justice this video, but who cares? I'm one happy angler right now. What a beast. Absolute beast. I'm made up. The LM94 just keeps on giving for me. I'm gonna have to put him down. He's a bit heavy. I shall have a little bit of a catch up with you in a bit. Well, have I got something really special to show you. I've only gone and landed myself another PB, a PB common. When it first went in the net, I nearly had a heart attack. I thought it was one of the, I thought it was the perfect or the box. At first glance I thought it was the box, but it's just weighed in at 46 pound 2 ounce, so it can't be that fish. But it's an absolute banger. I don't know which fish it is. Hopefully somebody will be able to identify it for me tomorrow. But just check this out. The same rod went again. 3 fish off that same rod. Madness, absolutely madness. Oh my god. Let's just check that beast out. What a mega fish. Oh, I am totally made up. I really am. He is absolutely mint. Oh, I'm shaking because he's that heavy. How's your luck? This place just keeps on giving to me. Oh, I've definitely trod in something. Oh. And there's the other side, look. Epic. What a fish. I'm lost for words, I really am. I just don't know what to say. I'm truly blown away. A brace of 40s and a 30 and a PB to boot. Madness, I'm not even 24 hours into the session. Well, I can't hold him up for too long. I want to get him slipped back. Oh. It'll be the morning before I speak to you. Unless it rips off again. Well, good morning, and what a night to remember that is. I tell you, I've had hardly any sleep. I just could not settle after catching that common last night. I think I managed to get to sleep around 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I was up again at 5 watching the water, but the wind has done a full switch this morning. It's blowing back down the other end of the lake, so whether them fish hang about is another story. But that fresh wind definitely brought them up here last night. You know, the proof is in the pudding. I just cannot believe it. I keep pinching myself. A brace of 4 is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. It's taken a bit of time to actually identify that fish. Good friend Tony Gibson and Dan Bowles have helped me out on that front. It's actually a mallard stock fish. That it's one that's come through the ranks. Dan actually had that fish in August last year at 42 pound, so that's at a top weight of 46 pound. Unbelievable, and it's got quite a funny name, to be honest. Previously a catfish angler caught it on a live bait, so they nicknamed it live bait, so that's how it's known, that fish. And an amazing fish. The frame on it, I'm sure that fish will go 50 pound before long. I tell you what though, when I first slipped it in the net, my legs had a bit of a wobble because I thought it was the box common. I definitely think the baiting application has been key to my success on here. I really do. I think that mix that I've been putting out, it's deadly. The LM94 food syrup, that's what really makes it for me. And then just having them small bits and pieces out there, and then mimicking that with my hook bait, I really do believe that's what's made the difference for me. I mean, you know, I know quite a few different people that are fishing on here, and there's the odd fish that come to pop-ups and zigs, but to be honest, from what I've seen, they tend to back away from the bigger food items. I'd love to hear from anybody else, you know, if anybody else has got a different opinion on that matter, but I can only go by what I've seen and the results I've had. And like I say, if you're planning a trip on here in the future, just fish a small amount of bait. Don't get me wrong, I do think it's going to change at some point, especially now we're coming into the autumn time, you know, summer's dwindling away now, and autumn is definitely in the air. It did drop quite cold last night, so even the nights are drawing in now. Yeah, it'll soon be trick-or-treating time, and before we know it, winter will be upon us. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do this winter yet. I've got a couple of plans, but I don't want to say anything just yet because I'm not 100% where I'm going yet. But it's not going to be spent on Swan, I know that. But I'm definitely going to have a few more sessions on here, especially through this autumn. Like I've mentioned before, I've got my heart set on one of them 2 commons, the Perfect or the Box. One of them would just put the cherry on the cake for me. But we'll keep persevering, you know, we'll just keep plugging away. And with the amount of fish that I have had, you know, it can't be too far away, surely. Well, I'm actually about to reel the rods in for a bit. I'm going to reel the rods in and then nip over to Benson's Cafe, I think, and treat myself to a breakfast. And not only that, it gives me a chance to have a quick look round the lake to see what else is available. With this wind switching round, it's due to stay southerly, so ideally I could do with being down that end of the lake. But like I said yesterday, it was pretty stitched up. I have seen a few people come and go this morning, so you never know. I'm going to walk round with a bucket and just see. If not, I'll do another night in here. I've got nothing to lose. It's been an awesome session anyway. So yes, until later on, that's going to be it from me for now. Well, good evening, and we're just setting the scene for our last night. It's just gone 8 o'clock now. Them autumn nights really are drawing in now. It'll soon be upon us. On the fishing front for today though, I've not got a lot to report. In fact, if anything, I've not seen anything in front of me today. But the weather's got a lot to do with that. The wind has been all over the place. It's been blowing a southerly and then an easterly, and at one point it was blowing a slight northerly again, but then it switched back to an easterly and then to a southerly again. So I'm guessing, because I haven't seen anything show yet, there must be a few fish down that other end of the lake. By this time yesterday I was seeing a few fish show, out to my right, and then I watched them sort of move up into my water. So if that's anything to go by, I don't think the fish are in front of me. But with the method that I'm fishing, it only does really take one fish to drift over your spot. That's the beauty of just sitting on a handful of bait, I suppose. There's always a chance, even if you've not got the majority of the stock in front of you. So there's still hope yet. And you never know, they're out there. I did switch the right hand rod. I mentioned before that I had 2 rods fishing the same spot at 8 wraps, and both of them rods was motionless last night. All the bites come off the left hand rod. So I've moved the right hand rod just into the margin really. It's just as it drops off, it's 3 wraps out. The margin here, just off the end of the reeds, it's only 2 foot, and then it slowly shelves off into 3, and then it gradually gets down to 5 foot, and I've placed a rig just at the bottom of there. The silt's not that bad there neither. It's not the stinky stuff. And it's a little bit firmer, the spots that you kind of want to be looking for to fish. So I'm pleased that I found that spot. Obviously them fish must have swum past my 2 other lines to get to my left hand rod, and if they haven't passed on this side of the lake, then they must be passing on the opposite side. But there is a kid on the other side over there, and he hasn't had anything. So maybe that rod in the margin might be a good shout. That's if the fish do push back up here. But I had a good walk round earlier, and I really wasn't happy with the swims what was there. I just didn't fancy any of them. I felt like I was moving on sort of a gamble rather than a certainty of knowing that the fish was there. So I decided to stay put. But it's not a bad option, that, is it? And despite what happens tonight, it's been an absolute blinder. It really has. So yes, there's not much left for me to say other than good night, and hopefully, fingers crossed, one more graces the net before we go. We've got until about dinner time, so I shall catch up with you very soon. Well, what a beautiful morning we're faced with today. Believe me, that sun poking through is rather welcome. It was pretty fresh last night, and the fish definitely did the off with that wind. No occurrences through the night for me. In fact, I've not seen or heard anything in my area. but I suppose that just goes to show how much the fish respond to the wind in here. And it was really nice to get it right from the off, you know, knowing that wind was going to start blowing up this way. So, you know, it turned out to be a really good session. I couldn't have asked for anything more, really. If a move had been on the cards yesterday, I'd have definitely moved, though. I did fear that this was going to happen. So I guess we can all take something away from this session. You know, each session is a bit of a learning curve, and it's just confirmed it for me. You know, if you come in here, you can at least try and position yourself on a new wind before you get here. You know, have a sort of an area in mind and try and get yourself on a new wind. You know, you can't always do that because it is a very, very busy lake, this, but, you know, it helps knowing that. And not only that, it gives you something to aim for before you get here, before you do your walk round and have a look for the fish. Well, it's just gone 8 o'clock now. We've still got a few hours left. I was going to sit it out till tea time, but I'm not. I'm going to do the off about dinner time today. So I'm going to kick back, have another cup of tea, you know, and just see if anything prevails. That's about all I can do, really. So yes, I'll have a little chat to you before we pack up, and just, you know, have a little bit of a recap on the session. Well, that is it. Another banging session has come to an end. Everything's packed up. I've just got to load the car and head out of here. A little bit later than anticipated. Had quite a few people walking around, had a good few chats with people today. In particular, a really nice old couple that are down here on holiday. And they've had a couple of fish themselves since they've been here. His missus had a 41 and he's had a 42. So great result for them. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on and make that journey home. I must admit, it's made a lot sweeter going home with what I have had. So yes, until next time, that is going to be it from me. I'm next due back in a couple of weeks, which is sort of the start of autumn, but we'll see on that one. It'll be a midweek session. So yeah, look after yourself and tight lines and good luck in your own fishing, and I'll see you again sometime.